in the thousands, and Allah told them to die. They did, and then brought them back again to life. And then the fifth example is what Ibrahim said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ رَبِّ أَرِنِي كَيْفَ تُحْيِي الْمَوْتَى قَالَ أَوَلَمْ تُؤْمِنْ قَالَ بَلَى وَلَكِنْ لِيَطْمَئِنَّ قَلْبِي قال فخذ 4 من الطير فصرهن إليك ثم اجعل على كل جبل منهن جزءا ثم ادعهن يأتينك سعيا واعلم أن الله عزيز حكيم. That when Ibrahim, he said, my Lord, show me, how do you bring the dead back to life? He said, Ibrahim, didn't you have faith yet? He said, yes, but I like something to bring tranquility to my heart. He said, okay, take 4 birds, cut them into pieces, and then take each part randomly and put it on the top of a mountain. Then stand in the middle and call them. They will come to you, all, each part attached to the same part, and they will come to you. And you should know that Allah is all dignified, all wise. These are the 5 examples that show the reversal of the one-way phenomenon. And we should understand, if we really say that infinity divided by any number is 0, that the real life, the life that we are all waiting for, that we are working for, is that comes after what we call death. If we read in Surah Al-Mulk, تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت first والحياة. Maut, death first, then comes life. Not life, then death. And then in Surah Al-Najm, وَالَّذِي وَأَنَّهُ هُوَ أَضْحَكَ وَأَبْكَى. That is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَأَنَّهُ هُوَ أَمَاتَ وَأَحْيَا. Amata first, then أحيا. Allah gives death as a way to life, the real life. So let us not fool ourselves and be content. Content with what? Content with wars? With diseases? With enmity? With struggle without any material gain sometimes? Content with what? But the smart and wise among us is her or him who sees things properly because of that light of faith that I hope that this series, inshallah, will light in our hearts by knowing how things are associated with each other. Let us know that there are 2 entities, and I insist, inshallah, through the research that I've done, that they are entities that through their association with each other, we determine in what phase of life we are. These 2 entities are a body and a Rouh. Now, okay, we know what a body is. What is the Rouh? What is it? We are not the first people ever to ask this question. What is Rouh? Everybody asked the question. And actually, when the non-believers of Quraysh were desperate to prove that Muhammad need to be proven wrong, they went to everybody and they asked everybody. They consulted with everybody until they came to the Jews and they said, how shall we? You are people who claim to be people of the book, and he claims to be also coming from the same God as yours. How would we know that he is on the right path? The Jews said, ask him 3 questions. One of the questions that you should ask him is, what is the Rouh? What is the soul? So the non-believers of Quraysh came running to Muhammad and said, Ya Muhammad, what is the Rouh? Muhammad looked at them and he kept silent. And the person who related this hadith, Qatada ibn Muslim, from his father said that he was looking at Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he was wondering what was happening until he was certain that revelation, wahi was coming to him. And then Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam from Surah Al-Isra, he answered, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الرُّوحِ قُلِ الرُّوحُ مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. They ask you concerning the Ruh. Say, O Muhammad, that the issue of the Ruh dwells with my Lord, and your knowledge therein is very limited. There are certain things that will stay with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala no matter what we do. It will be impossible for us to know. And one of these things is the Ruh. And remember that if it is registered in the Quran, rest assured it will never be solved until the Day of Judgment. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Al-Quran Al-Kareem said, تَبَّتْ يَدَا أَبِي لَهَبٍ وَتَبٍّ, it was registered that Abu Lahab will never become a believer. Had Abu Lahab wanted to accept Islam, there would be a surah in the Quran that would have been proven wrong. Actually, Abu Lahab could have maybe played a trick and declared faith when he was not faithful, just to prove that the Quran was wrong, but he didn't. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala registered that. And when it is registered, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الرُّوحِ, they ask you concerning the Ruh, tell them that its knowledge therein dwells with my Lord, and your knowledge about the Ruh is very limited. Actually, let us establish certain things about the Ruh. The Ruh in the Quran was mentioned to mean 4 different things. Not one of them meaning soul, the soul that we breathe. If you want to say Ruh, is that we breathe. I'm using this terminology because, we say in slang, طلعت روحه, that he died, which is wrong. طلعت روحه means he died. No, it's wrong. As that joke, the woman and her daughter, standing and they want to go to the bus, and the daughter will say, the mother will say, اطلعي يا روحي, لا اطلعي انت, اطلعي يا روحي, اطلعي انت. So the driver said, لا اطلعي بعدين تطلع روحك. You get into the bus and then your ruh will come out. Actually, this association between the ruh and the body is so sacred. You see, yesterday, actually, I tell you, my wife and children went to the mall and they told me that they witnessed something. They kept talking about it most of the evening until I said, it's okay, enough. They witnessed a man having a heart attack on the escalator and was going all down, and all people looking at that moment where the ruh would be dissociated from the body. And it registered. It is not something that we can really see with indifference. Impossible. And it registered there. We've got to make sense for this kind of experience. Now let's go back to the Quran. Now, how did the Ruh appear in the Quran? The Ruh appeared in the Quran to mean 4 things. Number 1, to mean the wahi, revelation. That's what it means in the Quran. We read in Surah Al-Shura, وَكَذَلِكَ أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ رُوحًا مِّنْ أَمْرِنَا. وَكَذَلِكَ أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ رُوحًا مِّنْ أَمْرِنَا. And as such, we revealed to you a ruh by our command, that it is revelation. يُلْقِ الرُّوحَ مِنْ أَمْرِهِ عَلَى مَنْ يَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ. In Surah Ghafir, that Allah will send the revelation on whomsoever He chooses from His servants. So this is one meaning in 2 surahs, Ash-Shura and Ghafir, revelation, Ar-Ruh. It also means strength and power from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as he talks about the believers. What does he say in Surah Al-Mujadilah? أولئك كتب في قلوبهم الإيمان وأيدهم بروح من عنده. Allah registered faith in their hearts and he strengthened them with a ruh, with power from him. The third meaning is angel Jibreel, that they call Gabriel. Angel Jibreel in 4 places of the Quran is referred to as a ruh. That's his name. Where we read in Surah Al-Shu'ara, نزل به الروح الأمين على قلبك. In Surah Al-Nahl, قل نزله الروح القدس. قل نزله روح القدس. In Surah Al-Naba, يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون. And in Surah Al-Qadr, تتنزل الملائكة والروح فيها. الروح. It's Jibreel. And the 4th usage of the term Ruh is Isa alayhi salam, is referred to as الروح. إنما المسيح عيسى بن مريم رسول الله وكلمته ألقاها إلى مريم وروح منه, that he is a ruh from Allah. So if these are the 4 different usages of ruh, what about then the association between the body and the ruh? We say in Al-Quran, nowhere is the word ruh used to indicate the ruh of the children of Adam. To indicate the ruh of the children of Adam, the word used was النفس. And this is one book actually I would like to advise you. It is not an easy book to read. It's called Rouh. It's a book by Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, and it talks about all the different understandings by the different scholars. And some were saying that no, this means this and this means that, and no, it means this, it means that. Why? Because of different understandings. Now, the word nafs and ruh, about 70 pages of this book talk about, is the ruh the same as the nafs, or are they different entities? The thing that really we can conclude of, and the most probable and the position that Ibn al-Qayyim accepted, is that the ruh and the nafs are one and the same. Actually, I would like to maybe give it an English characterization that I believe is in line. The nafs is the personality of the ruh. Every human being has a personality. And each one of us has a different personality. The personality of the ruh is an-nafs. So as such, there is an-nafs al-mutma'inna. There is an-nafs al-lawwama. There is an-nafs al-ammara. These are the personalities of a ruh. But these are actually manifestations of that entity that we don't know what it is. That we don't know what it is. But it is an entity. The personality of such an entity is an-nafs. And the Quran talks about it actually in يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ولا أقسم بالنفس اللوامة لا أقسم بيوم القيامة ولا أقسم بالنفس اللوامة إن النفس لأمارة بالسوء in Surah Yusuf كل نفس ذائقة الموت نفس. However, in as-sunnah, in the hadith, an-nafs and ar-ruh are mentioned exchangeably, but not in the Quran. So now, after we became really confused, but what is it? Okay, we said that we will never know what it is, but we should understand and believe that it is an entity. It is not the breath that we take. It is not in the heart. Once the heart stops, the Rouh departs. So the Rouh dwells in the heart. What about those who receive heart transplants? Do they receive a different Rouh? Okay, it's in the brain stem. How do you know? Can you examine it? But what is it? It is an entity, and we stop there. What's your proof that it is an entity? There are 3 pages from Ibn al-Qayyim that he gave so many proofs from. Actually, he gave 110 proofs that it is an entity. Among them that I would like to mention, a hadith that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that could not be understood unless the Rouh is something that moves, that the hadith actually is reported by Imam Ahmad and Muslim ibn Majah, and it is on the authority of Salama, wife of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. إن الروح إذا قبض تبعه البصر. Let's analyze this. I looked at this hadith and I said, when the Rouh is taken out of the body, the sight of the person follows it. And that is why we need to close the eyes of the deceased. The eyes, some people say, oh no, this is just basically there is a state of stiffness that happens in all the. It is a hadith sahih. Some people like material explanations for everything. We are talking about an entity called Rouh. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that when the Rouh is captured, the sight follows it. So it must be an entity that once the angel of death comes and all the veils are lifted and we see the angels coming and we see everything as we read in Surah Qaf. And we read in Surah Al-Waqi'ah, وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْكُمْ وَلَكِنْ لَا تَشْعُرُونَ, that the angels حتى إذا بلغت الحلقوم وأنتم حينئذ تنظرون ونحن أقرب إليه منكم ولكن لا تبصرون. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Qaf, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ وَنَعْلَمُ مَا تُوَسْوِسُ بِهِ نَفْسُهُ ونحن أقرب إليه من حبل الوريد إذ يتلقى المتلقيان عن اليمين وعن الشمال قعيد ما ينطق من قول إلا لديه رقيب عتيد وجاءت سكرة الموت بالحق ذلك ما كنت منه تحيد ونفخ في الصور ذلك يوم الوعيد وجاءت كل نفس معها سائق وشهيد لقد كنت في غفلة من هذا فكشفنا عنك غطاءك فبصرك اليوم حديد. That the veil will be lifted, and on such a day your sight will be as sharp as ever. Actually, every time, consider this. I know Faisal knows this already. We talked about it. That, consider this, our salat is symbolism. Every time we repeat in our salat, when we stand and we say, Allahu Akbar, what are you doing? You are basically lifting that veil through your salat. If you lift it properly through Allahu Akbar, and you start to see things directly, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you to see it. This is lifting a veil. Allahu Akbar. And on the time when the angels come to you, your sight is there and you see your Rouh. Only at that time. And there are many indications that were mentioned as to, for example, we read ولو ترى إذ الظالمون في غمرات الموت والملائكة باسطوا أيديهم أخرجوا أنفسكم أخرجوا روحكم. The malaika are challenging the people. أخرجوا. Now when you say the malaika باسطوا, why would they extend their hands if it is not an entity to be received? And أخرجوا, take your أنفس, take your ruh. These are indications that the Ruh is an entity. So, after we establish this, we say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. Now the exciting thing is that this association between the soul and the body is very distinct. In the first phase, we are told that there is conception. The sperm is moving. You said the sperm is moving. So the sperm is alive. Don't scientists say that among the signs of life is movement? The sperm is moving. So does that mean if we say that Ruh means life, the sperm is moving, the sperm has Ruh? No, it doesn't. So here now we started to differentiate between Ruh and life. It's a different association. And we have to understand that association. So the sperm is moving. And it goes and it pushes its way through the wall of the ovum or the egg. And it goes there. And then there is a union. And then they start to multiply. And they grow. And then after about a week, they attempt to attach, عَلَقَةً يَعْلُقْ, attach to the wall of the womb, and then the cells of the wall of the womb start to go and make a qarar makin, make a kind of abode that is as fortified as ever until the time comes to leave that phase of life. And then they continue to grow, and we are told through the authority of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud and through the authority of Ibn Abbas, and both reported by Muslim and Bukhari, hadith sahih, that the creation of each one of you is brought in the womb of his mother for 40 days. Then for a similar period, he is a germ cell. Then for another 40 days, he is an embryonic lump. 124 months. Then Allah sends an angel who is ordered to write down 4 words. His career, his livelihood, his life duration, and whether he is to be miserable or happy. أَشَقِيٌّ أَمْ سَعِيدٌ. All written down. And then the angel breathes the Ruh into him. Ibn Abbas, this is Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. Ibn Abbas was a little bit more specific in saying 4 months and 10 days. Ibn Mas'ud said shortly after 4 months. Similar. The angel comes and registered in the book of records 4 things. What will that person be on earth? How much livelihood, sustenance will he get? How long will he live in the second phase? And then whether he will be miserable or happy. All these things are registered. You say, okay, so? Why should we do anything? No, it's not that. This is what the question of predetermination that people arise all the time. Here, these are the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned at the end of Surah Luqman. That the knowledge thereof belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, how much sustenance? You never know what's going to come to you. Even the little things that you despise and say, this is not sustenance, I just got it. It's nothing. It is something. You don't know what you are getting. Your children are your rizq. Your career is your rizq, your everything. This is the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that precedes existence and happening. علمه كان قبل أن يكون. That his knowledge precedes things from before it happens. Now, the Ruh comes and it is in the body, and then the body continues. Then we come here, there's Ruh, and there is body. And then it is time to go to the third phase. Notice that in Al-Quran Al-Kareem, 2 words are mentioned for death. One of them also was mentioned as a hint, so that we will know the difference between wafat and maut. There's a difference. Wafat is not maut. Maut is the end of the second phase completely. Wafat happens while we still are breathing. There is wafat. Shortly thereafter, death happens. Now, between wafat and death, we don't know when Ruh leaves the body. Does it leave before wafat? Or at the time of wafat? Or at the time of death? When does it leave? Does it leave when the heart stops? Or when there is brain death? Does it leave? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the second phase, I'm going to give you a hint every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. Every day your ruh is going to depart from your body while you are still alive. It will depart from your body.